Bill O'Reilly here, Friday, March 6, 2020. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Here's what's happening today in America. Super Tuesday is over. Democrats across the USA have now voted in 18 different states, allocating about a third of their delegates. Both Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg quit the race before Tuesday, now backing Joe Biden. Elizabeth Warren probably wishes she had got out. She got clocked in her home state of Massachusetts by Mr. Biden and Bernie Sanders. Mike Bloomberg ended his campaign, as you know, following his terrible performance. The billionaire spent more than $500 million of his own money to take on President Trump, earning just 44 pledged delegates in a few states. Mayor Mike did win one contest, American Samoa. If you do the math, that's more than $11 million per delegate, Mike. Mr. Bloomberg, now worth $59 billion instead of $60. Democrat field that started with nearly 24 candidates is basically down to 2. So now it's mano a mano between Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden. But, as we reported yesterday, the fix is in against Bernie Sanders. The media already hailing Joe Biden as the comeback kid, a throwback to Bill Clinton's resurgence after a tough start in his campaign. The Democratic establishment will do anything to prevent Bernie Sanders from becoming the party's nominee. They are convinced, correctly, that running a socialist against Donald Trump would lead to a Republican landslide. Forget about taking the Senate or keeping the House. Joe Biden's impressive win on Tuesday will help the former VP raise money, of course, because March is a very busy time. The candidates will compete next Tuesday in Idaho, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, North Dakota, and Washington State. Then there's Mini Tuesday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. Primaries in Arizona, Florida, Illinois, and Ohio. No jokes about snakes, okay? The current delegate count is mostly split between Biden and Bernie. A trend's likely to continue all the way to the convention, where, if he can make it, I predict Joe Biden will get the nomination. And the Bernie bros are not going to be happy when the Democratic convention rolls around in July to see Joe Biden on stage. Coming up, listeners sound off. Right back. There are thousands of abandoned animals in the USA that need our help. I am partnering with Delta Rescue, the largest no-kill care-for-life animal sanctuary in the world. Founded by actor Leo Grillo, who left Hollywood to devote his life to saving abandoned animals, Delta Animal Sanctuary is a one-of-a-kind rescue unit. They are staffed by trained attendants who look after each animal, providing them water, treats, toys, and affection. Support Delta Rescue and put your legacy to work. Each life-saving gift helps Delta fulfill their mandate to rescue and care for animals. Request a free estate planning package at deltarescue.org/bill. For a limited time, please watch The Rescuer for free only at deltarescue.org/bill. The Rescuer is an award-winning documentary about Grillo's 2-year rescue of a family of 21 dogs abandoned in the wilderness. deltarescue.org/bill. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. Listeners, sound off. In this segment every Friday, I take some mail that you can reach me at bill@billoreilly.com, bill@billoreilly.com. Any questions or comments, we'll read them on national radio and try to get to the bottom of what you're concerned about. The first one comes from James, San Dimas, California. Bill, you asked why Hispanic voters would favor Bernie Sanders over Joe Biden. I am a semi-retired CFO of a New York Stock Exchange company and have had many Hispanic employees and friends. Those people I know are always seeking ways to bring family to California, and a great many of them want those family members to receive benefits from our federal government. Open borders, services, and benefits appeal to them. I think that's an excellent analysis, James. You can't really generalize about any voting bloc or any group of people. But Hispanics have flocked to Bernie Sanders. We saw that in Nevada, California, and Texas. While African Americans have rejected the Sanders message and are voting en masse for Joe Biden. So your analysis may absolutely be correct. I'd like to see a study on it, and perhaps we'll get one later on in the campaign. Nadine, Charlotte, North Carolina asks, do people really want someone like Joe Biden to run this country, a man who gets his wife and sister mixed up? Let's be fair, Nadine. If you look at the tape of Biden on stage with his wife and sister flanking him on opposite sides, he didn't see them. He thought one was to his right and one was to his left when it was the opposite. So I'm giving him a pass on the sister-wife mix-up. What is apparent, though, is that at times Joe Biden does not know what he is saying. And his memory isn't the greatest. He's 78 years old. Terry is in Tampa, Florida, and asks, if the fix is in for Joe Biden at the convention, could Bernie Sanders run as an independent? He could, but he won't. It costs far too much money. He's not going to win as an independent. Democrats will vote for Joe Biden if he's a nominee. And that would give Donald Trump 4 more years in the Oval Office. And Sanders would become vilified in his own party. The final letter comes from Joe in Boston, who asks why Elizabeth Warren did not drop out earlier. I don't know, Joe. She lives in your state. She's not campaigning. She's almost out of money. I have no idea what Senator Warren is thinking. Now, the others who dropped out, Mayor Buttigieg, he made a deal, some kind of deal with Joe Biden. I don't know what it is, but you can assume that he'll get a job. Amy Klobuchar, the senator from Minnesota, she dropped out. You can assume she'll get a lot of money from the DNC for her reelection campaign. But Elizabeth Warren, I have no blanking clue. I am Bill O'Reilly, and I approve that message by actually putting it together. For more news analysis, please visit BillO'Reilly.com, where we do honest commentary. In a moment, something you might not know. There are thousands of abandoned animals in the USA that need our help. I am partnering with Delta Rescue, the largest no-kill care-for-life animal sanctuary in the world. Founded by actor Leo Grillo, who left Hollywood to devote his life to saving abandoned animals, Delta Animal Sanctuary is a one-of-a-kind rescue unit. They are staffed by trained attendants who look after each animal, providing them water, treats, toys, and affection. Support Delta Rescue and put your legacy to work. Each life-saving gift helps Delta fulfill their mandate to rescue and care for animals. Request a free estate planning package at deltarescue.org/bill. For a limited time, please watch The Rescuer for free only at deltarescue.org/bill. The Rescuer is an award-winning documentary about Grillo's 2-year rescue of a family of 21 dogs abandoned in the wilderness. deltarescue.org/bill. Now, the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. It's time to spring ahead. Every second Sunday in March, Americans, with the exception of Hawaii and Arizona, lose an hour of sleep in exchange for a little more sunshine. Daylight saving time has been a practice in the USA for more than a century. But according to a recent AP poll, 7 in 10 Americans are ready to ditch it. All this clock craziness can be traced back to a single bug collector. In 1895, entomologist George Hudson wanted more daylight to gather insects. He took his case to the Royal Society of New Zealand, but they threw him out. No, George. 10 years later, British builder William Willett had a similar idea. He called it British Summertime. Despite a few interested parties, including future Prime Minister Winston Churchill, The idea failed. All that changed during World War I. In an effort to conserve fuel, the Germans moved clocks ahead 1 hour, hoping people would use less power. The Allies thought this was a good idea and did the same. Congress abolished the practice after the war, but FDR brought it back for World War II. He called it wartime. President Nixon resurrected the policy in the 1970s to conserve energy during the oil embargo. There was just one problem. It didn't actually save energy. According to a study by the National Bureau of Economic Research, Americans use more energy during daylight saving time. Recent studies show a 10 to 15% spike in usage. Air conditioning may be the reason why. And here's something else you might not know. Studies show that daylight saving time is actually bad for you. In addition to sleep deprivation, the time shift has a negative impact on everything from car accidents to workplace injuries. It even increases the risk of heart attacks and strokes, according to the study. There are now growing movements to roll back changes in the time in more than a dozen countries, saying it's time to, quote, lock the clock. But I dissent. The more daylight, the better, because too many people don't go outside at all these days. They are locked on their machines indoors. Back after this. It is shocking that your home can be easily stolen. That's a lesson Deborah learned when thieves found her home's title online, forged it, and then took ownership. In an instant, thieves legally owned Deborah's home, and actually, she got evicted and spent a fortune in legal fees trying to get her house back. The FBI calls home title fraud one of the fastest growing crimes. I urge you to protect your home with Home Title Lock. Thieves hunt legal documents online, forge them, stating you sold your home, then they borrow against it, and you get the payments. No insurance or bank can protect you. Only Home Title Lock does. You could already be a victim of title fraud and not know it. So please register your home at HometitleLock.com and enter BILL, B-I-L-L, for 1 month of free protection. That's BILL for 1 month free at HometitleLock.com. Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.